question is after that first little 2-day retreat that I went to in, Phoenix, Arizona, I had an interesting, demonic encounter after, and I didn't totally put it together at the time, but anyway, what happened was I was sleeping, and I would have when I would said I would have these paranormal experiences, it always seems to happen at night when you're sleeping, but this was the most vivid, what do they call sleep paralysis experience. So this is still still lived with my roommate, so slept in a bed alone. And this particular night, one of my pillows was kind of blocking my face, like my view, so I couldn't see out. And I was having a dream, and really it was a kind of a weird dream. I was like in a Home Depot parking lot pushing a shopping cart to the car, just like really mundane. And then all of a sudden I hear this beautiful angelic like music that stopped me in my tracks because I literally in my dream I stopped and I was like, where's that music coming from? Like, that's amazing. And all of a sudden, I see a clown, which who likes clowns? They're totally freaky, on like a bike, but like one of those where you sit in the seat, and you bike it, like there's no handlebars, they're like sitting.
Unicycle.
Yeah, like, sort of like a
Mm.
unicycle, but more like a tricycle because it's three
Oh.
wheels. He's sitting back, and the music is coming from like a stereo or something he has. It's coming from him. And I felt so frightened when I saw him that I shot awake. At least I thought I was awake. I think what happened was is I woke up in the astral realm. I don't think that my body was awake, but I was awake. My spirit or whatever was awake. But it just happened so fast, like, oh my gosh, I'm awake. And then almost no sooner than did I think I was awake, I heard just on the other side of the pillow that was blocking me this like heavy forced breathing sound that went shh. And again, now my heart has stopped because I'm, like, thinking to myself, "Did I really just hear that? Like, what's happening?" And as I'm having this conversation with myself, I hear it again, "Shh." And now I'm sure that there's something on the other side of that pillow. And in my mind's eye, for whatever reason, what I intuited, I guess you could say, was there, is I saw a small, what I guess would be like a gray being, and a taller, what would be like a reptilian being. I don't know why that's what I perceived was there, but that's just what maybe was being transmitted to me.
Wow.
And it took all of my strength to like, and again, I feel like I was maybe out of my body, but I didn't know. It wasn't like, oh, I'm out of my body. But it took all my strength to move my head to look behind. I didn't have a headboard, it was just a wall. And what I saw was a shadow of hands going like this, like it was manipulating my brain. That was what
Mm.
and then I guess that I mean, I don't know, I fell back asleep or what, I don't know what happened, but I didn't forget about it when I woke up. I've never forgotten it. And somehow maybe it was connected to even going to that retreat. I've wondered like, were these demonic beings that felt that they were losing their grip on my mind, and they were trying to come? Or was it a result of going, I don't know. I just know
Yeah.
that obviously I had a lot of open doors, was opening myself up to a
Wow.
lot of nasty stuff, and
That's 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 interesting because
bizarre.
that there's so much that goes with that, Candace. There's just so much that goes with that. Because there's a lot of folks now that talk about kind of the hand in hand of UFOs and demonology and what demons really are, and little gray beings and reptilian beings being actually just a manifestation of demonics today in the natural. So the fact that you're seeing it, the fact that you had such a vivid dream and you recall it so well, tells me that it's more than a dream.
Yeah,
Because
it
usually,
was not a dream.
yeah, because usually for dreams, people forget them, it's just a thing. Sometimes you may recall a dream or it's a little bit fuzzy, but the fact that that dream was so real to you and the fear was there, clearly. But the most interesting part of it is when they were saying that they were trying to control your mind. And that's what we see a lot. And obviously, this channel doesn't really go too much into the UFO realm, but nonetheless, I personally understand that a lot of that stuff is tick and tied together. And that's striking because if if that is true in regards to what you saw, then there's a lot of folks that deal with the paranormal side and deal with the UFO side, but that's actually merged into one. You can almost look at it as a whole different lens and perspective because it's bigger. It's bigger than what we're just anticipating. So I think those were just open doors that following that astral projection session or the occultic kind of session, just kind of remote viewing and all that. I know there's folks that they've been doing that for a while, and they have those kind of encounters with those little gray aliens and all that stuff, and it's all kind of very similar. It's very interesting that you've had that experience. Candace, did you ever have an experience like that ever again?
Um, yes, I've had sleep paralysis several times since, but never specifically thinking that there was a gray and a
Yeah,
reptilian. The
yeah.
other interesting thing is that it was a clown that showed up. I've heard, and I don't try to go down these roads too much myself, but I was actually talking to somebody else, and she was saying there's a guy who has a whole channel about clowns and Nephilim and how there's a connection.
Whoa,
So, I don't
interesting.
know. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
bizarre.
It is bizarre, and it just plays off of our fears. You know, a lot of people are scared of clowns. I'm one of them, so I'm with you
I
there,
honestly
Candace.
never met anybody that said, "I love clowns." Well, maybe like one person, but
Yeah,
most people are like,
it's far
"Yeah,
and few. Yeah. So that
no
happened.
offense to clowns out there."
Yeah, exactly. So that happened prior to this other retreat. Then that happened on
Yeah, it
the
happened
other one.
before I did the remote viewing and stuff, but yeah,
Oh,
who
so
knows?
it was just kind of
God
gearing.
only knows. I
It's
don't
just
know.
interesting because it's on the same parallel track, this whole remote viewing, it's getting you geared up for that, just like how you're it's all about channeling, and it's just the same thing, trying to get that channeling spirit, if you will, something along those lines, to get you where you were going in the next phase of your life when you met your husband.